B pillar repairs are complete. Painted inside, put this plate on. This plate was originally, let's get a better view of it there, was originally just welded to this back panel here. It was free inside, wasn't welded to either side. I've now turned down the edge of that by 10 to 15 mil to give it some extra strength, and I've put a tab on either end which I've welded, so that's now a solid piece across the centre of the B pillar. I'll actually use this plate now for positioning the inner sill, and eventually I'll probably plug weld it to that. The back panel, I've finished the repairs to the back panel. Put a new section across the top, right from the top end of to the bottom end. Had to repair the corner of the support frame here, just the very top edge of it. That was rusted through. Repaired that. As I've shown before, it's painted inside that support with red oxide. Once that was welded in place, it's actually made it very solid across the back end. Now, I think I mentioned that when I took the remainder of the floor out, this panel was actually not straight at all. It was bent in this way. From the middle here, probably by about 5 mil. So it was like a bit of a banana. This panel is now straight and certainly very solid. There's no movement at all, as is the B pillar. And once you put these new pieces of metal in and weld everything back up, it becomes very strong, as it should be. So, oh, and also I'll put this little new tab on the back there, which will be used to position and also plug weld the inner sill. So that end's basically done. I've now started to work on the A pillar. The A pillar is not too bad, or the main part of the A pillar. I've got a flanger across the bottom here to repair, but it's mainly the things that attach to the A pillar. So I've got this panel here, it's got a rusted section in the corner, needs to be addressed. Of course, all the front part of the bulkhead has to be replaced. That was all badly rusted. I'll just roughly cut that out. Haven't got it all out yet. But there's also a bit in the, though not the A pillar, down into the section that houses the windscreen. I suppose you could call it the windscreen pillar. This bit here, this piece of metal, I've seen referred to as the hockey stick. Now, I've actually taken the bottom end of that off because it was badly rusted and pitted, and I thought it'd be better to replace it. And then taking it off, there's some surface rust in behind, so I'll address all of that. Now I've made up a new, it's got it in the other hand, a new piece for the bottom of the hockey stick. That's it there. Now it's a slightly thicker metal. It's probably about 1.3 mil this section down into the hockey stick. I've got some 1.3 plate here which I've made up, so I'll weld that in, or obviously clean up inside first and then weld that in. So I'm doing that first. I know it's not the A pillar, but while I'm working on this end of the car, I might as well do that because it has to be done in any event. So I'm doing that. Then I'll move on to this. Then doing whether I'd replace that, but basically most of it's okay. It's only this corner, so I'll look at whether I can repair that. When I can repair it, but whether it's going to be neat enough. And then I'll work on the front panels here. Now I need those in so I can actually and put the inner sill and then position the floor. So that's where I'm at this stage. Alright, an update on the progress. I've actually finished the repairs to the hockey stick, put all new metal in there. Also inside there's a little bracket that this welds to. I replaced that. It's a little bit rusted, but it was easy to make a new one. So that's nice and solid. The A-pillar, I've got a repair to make to this edge here. I've got a piece cut out for that. I decided that I'd actually repair this panel. We'll see how that goes. So I've got a piece already cut out for that, ready to go in. I removed the remainder of the old bulkhead, cut a bit of the rust out there for the moment, and so that's almost cleaned up. I'll probably spot blast in around here. There's light surface rust under that, under the seam sealer, so I need to clean that out, and also in around here I'll spot blast that, get rid of the rubbish out of there. I've taken this side plate up, I don't know what you call it, but I've actually removed that. There was what appeared to be a build-up of surface rust in the edge of this, but what I've actually found is it was very thick seam sealer. I don't know whether you can see that, but this edge here is not straight, it's actually very wavy, and although it was spot welded, there were big gaps which were filled up with wads of seam sealer, and surface rust was in behind that. So I've taken that off. Took a while to get it off. I'll clean that up. I'll probably straighten this out. At this stage that piece is in the vinegar bath, getting cleaned up, removing any surface rust. Now the advantage I've got in taking this off at this stage is that I was intending to remove this panel at some stage. No, not at the moment. I'll wait until I've got the sills and some strength back in the vehicle, but I am going to, as I say, at this stage, take this panel out because I've got some rust repairs to do to the left hand side, and it would be easier to do the repairs with the panel out. And to get the panel out, it's really necessary to remove this side plate, because the way it's designed, this side plate actually lips around that, so it would be extremely difficult to get this panel out with that in place. So that in mind, I took that off. It gives me complete access to this A-pillar now to clean it up and cover it in red oxide. There's really little damage to the A-pillar, so it's mainly this side, which is what I'll work on next. Then that, then spot blast, then look at positioning. I'd say I'll put the inner sill in. I won't weld it, but I'll fix it in place, either with clips or maybe a few screws to make sure it's in its final resting place to be welded. Once I've done that and really lock that sill in, then I'll start to make up these panels and fit the other panels to it. So there's a little bit of progress this month as I finish the B and the repairs to the back. This won't take long to do the repairs to that or to lock this in, so I hope to make a fair bit of progress during the next month. Maybe, this is a maybe at this stage, if I can get this in, the end plate positioned, I'll probably drop the floor in and look at repairing possibly at least this panel, which is that, and that panel. This bit I'll probably replace because it's badly pitted. So by the end of the end of June, there's a good chance I'll actually have it to the stage where I can drop the floor in to see how that fits. When I do that, it'll give me an idea of how things line up, and also whether I can then weld this inner sill. And I probably will weld that inner sill in place once I'm sure that everything's positioned correctly. Once I've got that inner sill welded, then I'll look at addressing this transmission tunnel, which has got a bit of rust in the back end there. It's also got a lot of surface rust inside it, which would be easier to remove if I remove that tunnel. So on this stage I'm probably going to remove it, but I'll reserve judgment till I get the other pieces in place. So that's where I'm at this stage.